hardcores. Look what we've got here. It's Big Ron. How are you doing, Ron?
Nice to hear from you, Russell. Are you keeping out of trouble?
Trying my best. Trying my best. TV companies, Ron, gonna need to start taking charge with some of these fights that are not happening. You know, and start putting the foots down. With you promoters.
Oh, oh yeah. Come on, I can smell something. I can sense something. I can see there's going to be some uncomfortable questions coming at me tonight, Russell. So come on, then, fire away. What's your point?
No, I just think that TV companies have got to start getting them in line because there's somebody who's at fault why these fights are not happening. We can have the golden era, can't we, and other great eras, and now it's about who's not fighting, who, isn't it?
Do you think Gorbachev should have fought Ronald Reagan?
You had to get that in, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been on about this today that AJ's fighting the kid who Dillian beat on points. I don't see the point in it. Even when you get Pacquiao or Sugar Ray Leonard or big names, when they've been so-called retired for so long and then they come back and they're just in a massive fight. Well, why don't AJ just fight Joshua or Wilder? End of story, because he's got plenty of money. But, Joe Frazier is still thought of as a great, but he got beat two out of three by Ali. He got beat, trounced by George Foreman. But he's still thought as an all-time great. So for Joshua to have a legacy, he's got to be fighting, I don't know, Fury or Wilder, in my eyes. End of story.
Well, let me just throw a couple of bones at you here. Baturbia and Bivol, both undefeated. That's got to happen, undisputed. Glamour division, one of the original divisions, light heavyweight. Fury Usyk, both undefeated, undisputed. Glamour division, the Blue Ribbon division, got to happen. Garcia against Tank Davis, that's got to happen. Spence Crawford, undisputed. We've got to have these fights, Dave, to put boxing back on map.
Yeah, it'd be great if it can happen. It'd be great if it can happen, but, Pacquiao didn't fight Mayweather for years and years, and it was touted. So, I've always told the story about Ricky Hatton when his dad went behind my back and signed him with Golden Boy to fight Mayweather. I got him to that stage by maneuvering him into that position, I suppose, and breaking America with him with Castillo. But the brand was growing. Why go straight to the top guy? It just didn't. It was just establishing himself in America and go straight for Mayweather. Bob Arum called me and said, "Dennis, don't fight Mayweather next." I says, "We're not." Unbeknown to me, Ricky's dad had signed a deal with Golden Boy, and they did the fight above my head, which is obviously wrong. And Ricky will tell you that to this day that if I'd have been left to my own devices, maybe it might have been a different ending for Ricky. Well, I can more or less guarantee it would have been a different ending because he had people around him who weren't right. And one of them used to work with me. And that's the problem with boxing. It's the quickest way to get a bit of fame by somebody who hasn't got the credentials to be in the position that they are, and that's why you get a mix, which sometimes holds the sport back. And it's not as regulated as football as regards the structure and the business of it. Even though we're not about football, agents could sometimes the scourge of football because they create problems for players and top prices up and stretch football clubs. But boxing hasn't got anything like that, only right at the top. And it's a shame, but it's there. I've been in the game over 30 years. I've been promoting over 30 years. Been in the game longer than 30 years. And it's a tough business, and you know, I suppose I haven't got anything to prove, but and it gets harder because of the politics and the people involved who, like I've said time and time again, wouldn't get a position in any of the industries outside boxing that I'm in. I'd never do business with a lot of these people, but because it's such a small pool, the boxing industry, you come across them again. So you know, you end up having to communicate with them because you're trying to make fights for fighters. But they holding the sport back by, you know, schmoozing certain fighters and then being dishonourable by telling the fighters doing the right thing, but really they're pimping the kids out, and that's what they're after. They're after the 25%. That's all they see these kids at. 25%, but do a you know, a bit of spiel on them and schmooze them and win them over and tell them that I'm doing the best for you. But you know, that's what pimps do.
Yeah, well, you've done 28 shows in the last 2 years, you, Dennis. So I think that's active, isn't it? That.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And, you know, we were talking about the car park shows. I did 18, 7 weeks, I think it was there. And we put, you know, we got the kids off the backsides who were getting no work, and we were creative. We did the first ever drive-in boxing show in the UK, first ever one in history. And I was just looking at a drone footage of what one of our production guys did. It's only about 2 minutes long, but you just look at it, and it was something special what created in an environment where there were a lockdown going off. It was like a World War II sort of environment where people didn't know when they were going to be free again. But we freed people up. We managed to get kids fighting again, and it was special. And you know, there were a few fair weather people involved with us, and it's just a shame that they got found out when the going got a little bit tough. But we've rebooted Fight Academy and Fight Zone, and we're very optimistic on where we're going. I've got you know, we've got partnerships, especially the one coming up with Stephen Vaughan, what we're doing in Malta. Crump is still there, and he's as enthusiastic as anything. And the future's looking bright for us. So I'm happy where we're placed, to be fair. And, you know, some of the fighters will fall by the wayside. They're managed by people who I don't really care to do business with, if I can help it. But I dare say we'll end up doing a bit of business with some of these managers who I don't really care for. But we've got a nice, stable building again. My phone rings on a regular basis, offering us kids to work with. I don't want us to sign too many kids because I'll lose that connection. So, you know, it is what it is. I've been in the game, like I said, 30 years, and I'll continue to do so because I like, you know what I'm addicted to, Russ? Winning. I love to win against the odds. I suppose I'm the Brian Clough of boxing.
Kevin Marie's got 10 shows lined up this year.
Oh.
Steve Wood, 19.
Kevin Marie, is that OPM? He should have letters after his name, OPM. You know what that means, don't you?
No. What?
Look it up.
I'll look it up later, yeah. Dennis, drug testing, what's the answer now if this Conor Benn rumour that he's getting acquitted, they're dropping it or something, it's not proven or something. What's the answer?
I think there's got to be an independent body formed, and I think maybe the government has to get involved with it because it's got to be regulated and it's something independent where it's not biased because they've got an influence from a promoter or a certain fighter. It's got to be something totally independent, which the government, like I say, maybe the government steps in there, and you know, you pay a subscription fee to be part of this organisation, like APTA would be at you know, the travel. Just pick that off the top of my head, but something what protects you and you want to be part of because you want to play it with a straight bat. And so you pay a subscription fee. It might be 50 quid a year or whatever, or 100 quid a year, but it allows a pot of money for people to be randomly tested. And, you know, our pal Max has just had a random test. He's had 3 pro fights, and all of a sudden, because he signed up for it, he has a random test. So I like things like that. And obviously he's a novice pro, is Max. But I just want to say I'm grateful for you for introducing me to him, Russ.
Why?
I like him. I think he's. I think I can do something with him special.
Yeah, good.
And that's all down to you, Russ.
Yeah, well, you don't have to thank me, Dennis. You don't have to thank me.
Listen, you're like a Cilla Black.
Yeah.
You're good at putting blind days together.
Yeah. Well, no doubt you'll thank me if Max wins British title.
You know, well, Russ, don't forget about my friends who's done something for me. I'm not like a lot of people out there.
Yeah, listen, Dennis. I've heard you've already got Max ranked with IBO.
No comment, Russell. No comment.
He's not even up playing to Jersey.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
I've seen him do a session today.
Any good?
Yep.
Good.
He's got a smile on his face anyway.
Good. Well, let's hope you can do something with him because he needs a break, doesn't he?
Yeah, hope it's not his chin either.
Yeah. What him in with that rugby player?
Oh, Nick Campbell, they're pals, aren't they?
Are they?
No, he says I can't put him in with him because one's rugby league and one's rugby union. They come from different sanctioning bodies.
Oh God. Aye. Unbelievable. Anthony Yard against Baturbia. Anthony Yard stopped it. Bit like you and Clinton and Roy Jones.
I wouldn't say quite as clear cut as that. I think it's I think Yard. It might have been a premature stoppage, but it wasn't as clear cut as Roy Jones. I think Yard can come again. I think he can win a world title. But I admire him for it, the way he fights and come and gives it, brings it. So with me, with Clinton, it were a learner at the highest level to being with a legend of the sport. And I didn't leave him in there because I wanted to, learn from the experience. And then I don't know what 2 years later, we learned from that and went away and come back and won a world title, the IBF, which Clinton held on to for 3 years. So you know the story, Russ. It's having good people around you who's not just there for the OPM, for the money.
Yeah. Kell Brook. There's a video gone out of him snorting beat.
He's got some good friends, hasn't he, old Kel?
Yeah.
Who would do that to somebody just, for their own ends? That's all they've done that for. A kid who's at maybe a low point or who it might be his tittle, he might like, but he might like a bit of that powder. It's not my game, but why should somebody who is socializing with take a video of him? He's a dog in here for somebody to do that to him. Anyway, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not condoning what Kel's doing, but he's retired anyway. So who are we to say, you shouldn't be doing that? He's not in training. He's said he's retired officially. So, I wouldn't have given it the airtime. These kids out there who's on the white stuff, which for me, it ends up doing good on the long-term effect. But, people choose to do that. And if they want to do that and they're not hurting anybody, apart from themselves, I don't agree with it. I wouldn't want him to do it. And it's a shame because he's saying he's in a dark place and he's suffering a bit. So he's putting some of that up his nose and trying to find a way to lose where he is with his mindset at the moment. So who knows what he's going through? And somebody's caught him maybe at a low edge. I think it's disgusting, to be honest.
Yeah. Jason Barker, Dennis, he passed away.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the texts. I've known Jason. He looked like he was as thin as Mr. Bean when he first come to box on one of my shows at the Pine Grove. He'd got more hair than Max. He'd got, and he ended up as bald as a coot and as fat as they come. But a big personality, Jason. Did a lot wrong and cocked a lot of things up in his life. But he was so likable. It's not true, but it's sad. It's sad. He was friends with a lot of people. A very, like I said, very likable kid. But another one that lost himself, and you've led on to him from Kel. We don't want that happening to Kel, because that's exactly what Jason did. He went spiraled and took a lot of different substances, drunk himself on a regular basis, and he ended up vastly overweight, taking the wrong stuff, and he's ended up not thinking he can get out of this dark place. And it's a shame, because he's left a missus behind, and some people who really thought a lot about him. It's sad, because he's a waste of life, because he's gone prematurely.
Yeah, it's not nice, is it? Lawrence Okolie has been on TalkSport today, and he says that Eddie Hearn bullied him. That's why he left. He don't want to do it again.
It's funny, isn't it, that you get it in politics. Oh, somebody bullied somebody. How can Eddie Hearn bully Okolie? How can he? It's just, how many people play the victim when they want to get out of something? I've had it myself with certain people who play the victim, certain people who's worked for me after I caught them doing something that wasn't ethically right, if that's the right term. Then they started playing the victim and probably said that they got bullied. Well, they're not sorry for what they've done, some of these people. They're sorry for getting caught. And it's that sort of thing. And then they ended up, the only way out is to play the victim, to look for the sympathy vote, because there's done something that's not right. I've had my spats with Eddie, as you know. But overall, Eddie's been good for boxing. He's put some cracking shows on. I don't agree with some of the things he does. I think, like you say, he should get Joshua in with Fury or Wilder. I think he could make them fights happen. But to say that he's bullied Okolie, do me a favour, Russ. It's like saying you bullied me. You ended up like Gorbachev when you started trying to bully me.
What do you mean when you rub my head on carpet?
It was a laugh, though, wasn't it, Russ? It was a good laugh.
After I choke you out nearly.
Yeah, when I put my head in your arms, yeah, of course. Anyway, we can get that rematch on anyway, because I've been getting a bit of ribbing from somebody. Well, I think we need to get that rematch on me.
He's been ribbing you, hasn't
he? Yes, he has.
Okolie against Striaght. There's the quiet word round the campfire is they're going to big that up as a pay-per-view with a stacked card on Sky.
Well, Okolie, I'm told, has been offered absolute crazy money. So I think that's the whisper you're probably hearing, Russell. He's probably right. I'm hearing at least $750,000 is being offered, and what do you call him, Okolie?
Lawrence Okolie.
Has he been offered $750,000 for that fight?
He's been offered big money to fight on Sky. He's got a big contract with him, hasn't he? He's going to be Sky, apparently.
I heard something, some silly money, some crazy figure for him to fight. I forgot who it was. And
I went underwriting it with pay-per-view then.
Well, they might be underwriting it pay-per-view, but the fight I got told it were for, it didn't add up. So they might have been Chris Billum-Smith might be the other fight. That's a good fight.
That won't be paid.
But obviously, your friend Shalom, he's obviously trying to big these fights up at cruiserweight, but somebody obviously.
Wow.
I'm saying it with the tongue in the cheek, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, he's upsetting a lot of people, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you know my thoughts on him. He likes manners, and when if ever I've got something wrong, I'll put my hand up and say, look, I got that wrong. I make it right. Well, he's wronged us a couple and 2 or 3 times. He taps fighters up behind people's back because he's not capable. He's still lacking in a lot of departments himself. So what does he do? Does the wrong thing. The board are letting him get away with it. Well, he's had a couple of legal letters off us, as he has off 1 or 2 others, and and then he gets himself in little holes where it sounds of it with that video what he's done with Billy Joe. So he comes from a different world, and apparently it's a very privileged world. People like you and me has not had it easy in our childhood. Russell had to fight his way out and make some of his lives. Well, people like that, they have a leg up. Where I live, but it's all done on my own esteem, what I've got. And he's in a position. If he's good luck to him if he gets in that position, but do the right thing. That's why he'll kill people like him. Will kill boxing, it won't flourish because they're not right in that position. I'm afraid, and time will tell how long they stay in that position. Don't want to put any pressure on, but the credibility of his bosses won't be such if they stand for him for much longer.
Yeah. What do you think to this Misfits, Dennis? This KSI and this prime drink and all that these kids are going mad for? And
the problem we've got, Russell, is we come from a different era. Yeah. So, my little girls, 9 and 11, know some of these YouTubers are. And if they want to have a fight and if somebody wants to pay for it, who are we to say they can't? It's just because we're purists, boxing people, and somebody wants to fight somebody to earn a few quid. I don't necessarily say I love it, but if two kids want to fight in a donkey derby and they get well paid for it, who are we to stop it? We're boxing people. I mean, British, European, Commonwealth area titles, all that, for kids who are up and coming who want to fight. But if 2 YouTubers want to fight each other and somebody's willing to pay for it, it's almost a different sport. But who are we to stop them? It's not ideal, but who are we to stop them, Russ?
Yeah, did you see all vultures hanging around KSI? All boxing people. I'm not going to say over. You know what I mean, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're all high-fiving him and that, Dennis.
They would be because the meal tickets and you know what I'm saying about certain people. But well, if he said to us, "Can I fight on Fight Zone?" I'm not going to say, "Get away from me, you're a misfit," am I? No. Because if we're building a brand and we're building something that needs strengthening, and if these other little add-ons, where you're putting 2 people together and they want to use our platform and we get a percentage out of it or we get a cut out of it, it just strengthens our platform for us to do the stuff that we've been good at for 30 years. So, I think there's different ways of running a business and they don't always go in a straight line.
Yeah. Do you think that British title money, Dennis, has not really moved on from 90s because some of these purse bids now and purses being paid, they're less than 90s, aren't they?
Yeah, but we are getting into the politics of it all. Where does the money come from? It's all these people going on strike. Where does the money come from? Oh, I want paying more because the inflation's gone up. Well, who's paying me? I work for myself. Where's my pay rise coming from? If I'm not earning any more money, I can't give myself a pay rise. So if it were Nazim Ahmed fighting Billy Hardy for the British title today, he would get paid 100 grand instead of 10 because he's Nazim Ahmed.
Yeah.
And Billy Hardy would get paid probably 30 or 40 instead of 10 because he's fighting Nazim Ahmed. And sometimes names make fights. So what I'm getting at is it's who sells the most pay-per-views, who put bums on seats, who the TV demand and want to pay that bit extra for. But if it's just a kid who's fine for a British and who's earning his right, but he's not that popular, then, you know, you can't pay the kind of money that, you know, you think you should have moved on to. It's just, it is what it is. If the money's not there, you can't pay it.
Yeah, it's yeah. What do you think is going to happen with Fraser Clark, Dennis, aka It's Big Fraser? You think
I like Fraser a lot. I find him an absolute breath of fresh air, to be honest. And
they'll fast track him, Dennis?
I think they may do, but I'd be careful to match him. You know, like, you know, Frank Bruno wasn't fast track, but he wasn't because he had a lot of fights in a short space of time, and I think that's what he should look at doing with Fraser to get him, because he's not a young pro, but he needs to get that pro experience, and I think he'd get that by having a lot of fights in quick succession, and I think he can be in the mix. I like him. I think he's charismatic. He's a specimen. And I wish I'd have been involved with him. He's a fighter I would have liked to have been involved, managerially or promotionally, because I like him as a kid. I think he's a specimen. He's got pedigree. And I think he's a very, very saleable commodity.
What would you do if you had Kid Galahad, Dennis?
Kid Galahad. I think he was unfortunate on that DAZN show. I thought he was winning the fight. I'd have liked to see him in a rematch. I think there's been times where certain trainers maybe get it wrong by thinking they're coasting. And I think Kid Galahad could have gone for that fight a little bit more. I think he might need, he either needs a change of scenery. He's not doing a lot wrong, so I can't say they've done a lot wrong with him. I think he just needs, mentally, it's like having a football manager. Look at Everton; they've been on a losing streak. They get Sean Dyche, and all of a sudden they're winners with the same team. It's sometimes the same principle where you do the same things, but you just got somebody who just can float your boat out a little bit more and get you feeling better about yourself. So it's like anything, if you feeling better about yourself, you just perform that a little bit better, and especially in boxing, these fine lines. And I don't think he's still far off. I think he can still win something, but he needs the right people around him and the promoters to believe in him and give him another shot, get him a final eliminator somewhere and put him in. Try and get him in with another world champion and have another go. That's what I'd be looking to do.
Yeah. What do you see happening with Eubank now and Beefy Smith? Do you think they'll call it rematch?
I think so, and I would, and I don't. For me, I thought it was a great performance by Beefy, but I just think that Eubanks, there was something not right with that kid, and whether he could say it were a punch on the top of the head. For me, he's got the conditioning wrong or he's got the weight wrong. There was something there. What his punch resistance, a hard lad. He comes from hard stock in his dad, and he's proved to be a hard kid. I think even Freud said that he'd hit him flush and not budged him as George Grove had in sparring. Unless he's got old very quickly, and I don't believe that's the case. I think he got the weight wrong, and I think he done the weight wrong or got it wrong, however he's done it, and his legs weren't there when his punch resistance should have been there, and was it down a weight? I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, it's another great fight.
Yeah, what about Beefy Smith versus Kell Brook? They were talking about that on TalkSport the other day.
Yeah, I'd if I were Kell, I'd seriously look at that because I think Kell can beat him.
Do you?
I do. I think Kell can beat him. I think Beefy's a great fighter. And you know, if he wants to carry on fighting and cash in, and Kell wants to come back and he thinks he can win a fight like that, and you know, they get a few quid again. I think, you know, if it's a good, you know, if they were both saying, "Oh, I want to fight this up and coming superstar who's 24 years old," I'd be saying, "Do yourself a favor." They're both never going to get any better.
Yeah.
But bragging rights. And if people want to pay to see bragging rights, pay to see them, and let's get it on.
Yeah, it's yeah. Hall of Fame, Dennis. British are doing an Hall of Fame now. Did you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you get in that, Russ.
Well, Joe Gallagher's just got inducted.
Has it?
Yeah, Robin Reid, Joe Gallagher. I forgot who else. Yeah, they're inducted. Yeah. So
Really?
that's all right for Robin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice for Robin. I'm pleased for him. I'm pleased for him. I like Robin. He were a star, him, and he's not revered in the way that he should be. And maybe he didn't have the right people around him at the right time, and he ended up financially as well off as he should have done. If it had been managed by me, I think he'd have been financially in a lot better place, because, you know, I like to think I've changed people's life when they boxed for us, and financially they'd been a lot better off and ended up a lot better off. And you know, some of the people I'm talking about, we are getting into it. So I like to give myself, in a way, a pat on the back without sounding conceited. That, you know, that does please me, even though some people are like Stevie Wonder, they can't see it. And the people around them who's never contributed anything, who's been on a ride, whisper in their ear and tell them a load of shite that's not true, but people who's never contributed anything. I know what I've done for certain fighters, and and Robin Reid definitely would have been one of them, because I think the journey with Robin would have been a bit special, and he's got my utmost respect, Russ.
Yeah, he come over to see us. Do you remember that show a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he's a lovely fella.
Eddie's struggling with his own. Eddie Earn's struggling with his own. They've changed price list. Somebody just sent me this here. It's £100 for a year now if you get the annual Super Saver, and you can save 140.
Right. So do you think that's on Skid Row, Rush?
It's not looking too good, is it? Begging bowl out there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Had his tap stopped, hasn't he?
Probably seems that way.
Could be coming to Fight Zone, Dennis. With Begging Bowl.
Coming soon to Fight Zone. Listen, he can read off my podium with me. I don't mind. He's quite polished, old Eddie, but I don't know if he'd want to, you know, nip down, because sometimes I go down at Bargain Basement, but sometimes go and try and win the FA Cup, don't I? You know what I'm like. I mean, I'm a bit of a Wimbledon of boxing.
The magic of the cup, Dennis. Do you remember it? The Saturday morning at Grandstand, the magic of the cup.
Absolutely.
Hey?
Great, wasn't it? It was great. That's when it was meaningful.
Afternoon, cup final day. Reading Greenan after. Remember Greenan?
I were in Greenan a few times. Denby United, Sheffield FC. I were in there a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
People used to read it. But you know, players who'd been playing, they'd read it in pub after what they'd been doing in game, wouldn't they?
And I were one of them.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? You know, when you look back, there's more enjoyment out of that, though, isn't there, for like that sort of level than there is now.
Yeah, it was your moment of fame. Yeah, it was just great. Oh, I've been in Greenan this week. It was just, as a young kid, you think, oh yeah, got a bit of recognition. I've been in Greenan this week. You felt like a star for a day. We're great.
Right then. All right. Well, listen, Dennis, it's been a pleasure. Nice to see you. Hope you're well.
Always, Russ.
When's your
Jenny and kids all right?
Yeah, brilliant. When's your next show upcoming show?
18th of February at Bramall Lane. And then we've got the 25th. That's a good fight, Russ. Craig Derbyshire and Connor Butler in Malta. That's a good fight. And then I'm going to a convention because Kate Healy, she won one of them WBF titles, the world title in South Africa.
Yeah. The
board won't recognise it, which I found ludicrous, because she's gone and won a world title in South Africa. you know, whatever title it is, she's gone out there and got paid, and it just so happens it was for a WBF. So I'm going down a convention there. You've got Ryan Ferrago's fighting down there. I think he's going to fight for a certain title at Superfly, and Katie's on that show. I'm not sure if even Dave Allen might be on that show, the White Rhino in Cape Town.
Yeah, the White Rhino in South Africa, where rhinos are from. Can you imagine him stood next to a rhino and putting it on Instagram?
How good would that look? The White Rhino arrives back in South Africa.
Where he's
Kumbaya, White Rhino, Kumbaya.
No, you can't say that on here, Danny. She'll get me in trouble.
Why? What's up with that? That means that is what he used to sing in it. Africans to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I think
that means we love Ali, didn't it?
Yeah, Ali.
Well, if I've got the wrong the wrong translation, then I apologise.
Yeah, we're getting to the stage in this world, then it's where you can't say.
Well, you'll have to do a bit of a PC and cut that bit out, Russ.
No, we leave it in, man. We're authentic.
All right, Russ.
Right, well, listen, you take care and have a great evening. All right, Max. I hope he's been flogging you in that gym.
He's flogged me today, yeah.
Good. You need it, mate. You need it. Don't you let me down, Max. You'll get stuck in.
Yeah, don't you worry. I've been getting stuck into a den for you. I've been joking about the old choke out.
Go on, lad. Go on. Don't give up your career, Max. Don't ever try and be a comedian, Max.
Well, you know, Gorbachev, you know how it is.
Go on, then. And on that note, peace out.
We're sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.